Hey, welcome to another episode. I'm Dr. Frankensteel, and today I got a little side job. My neighbor got some ramps from a dealership and he donated them to the church. But the ramps need a lot of repair. The feet on them are all rusted out. Eventually, the whole bottom is just going to rust out. It's not going to be usable anymore. So he wants me to come in and repair all the rot and rust and make them usable again. So these ramps are going to be mounted in a parking lot. They're always going to be outside. It's not gated off or anything. So he wants me to make a mount to where we can screw it straight into the concrete. Also, the ramps to the main platform are removable. So I got to find a way to have these ramps attached to the platform. Either we can make the ramps fold over on top of the platform, or we can just take the ramps, put them on top of the platform, and lock them down. So I'll have to weld on some plate where we can put padlocks on it. For this job, I'm gonna have to load up all my tools into my truck and drive over there and work on site because I don't have any room around here to work on them. So I'll just be in the parking lot working on them. Thought I'd take you along and show you a little bit of work I do on the side. But before I load up my truck with all my tools, I have to prefab what parts I can. I can work on stuff more easily here with all my tools and everything set up than having to reset up out in the field. So I'm going to use materials I have and see what I can make before. To replace some of the feet, I'm going to be using some channel I've had on hand for quite some time. The part actually needs to be a piece of angle, but I can just chop off one of the legs and it'll be just fine. The dimensions of this channel fit perfectly for what I'm using it for. But I do need to plug the holes. You can see here I'm using a piece of aluminum to kind of assist with plugging the holes. It doesn't bond to steel at all. You can also use ceramic or just get a metal plug and weld it in. Now the first day on site, I got to cut out the rot to make room for all the parts that I made. As I'm cutting out the rot, I'm making sure that there's fresh metal for me to weld into. When the rot is all gone and room is made, I can start fitting up parts and welding everything together. Now when I'm out in the field like this, I'm using gasless flux core. You can get it at Harbor Freight or Home Depot or your local welding supply. It's not my favorite kind of wire, but it works really good in the wind or outdoor applications like this. It's a really dirty wire, a lot of smoke, spatter, slag, but you don't need to use shielding gas and you don't have to worry about porosity as much. Now if I was using solid core wire with shielding gas in a shop, I would be able to lay down a lot more weld. It would be clean and the welding process would be so much faster because you're laying down solid weld compared to the flux core wire, which is 50% weld metal, 25% slag, 25% spatter. But that's just my opinion. Now if you're a beginner welder or you've been welding for a few years and can't really get a good bead down, when I weld I always brace myself in, whether it be bracing with my fingers, my wrist, my elbow, using my knee, or sometimes I'll use a jack or whatever I have around me. Just make sure you're braced in. It helps keep your hands steady. Also make yourself comfortable because you might be in that position for a long time. Now back to what I was doing. So I welded the feet on, but then after I did that, there was more rot all over the piece. So I had to plate over it, cut it out, or just fill in. Repair jobs are rarely an easy fix. Here you can see I'm putting on the mounting brackets. These are going on each of the 6 legs. I'll be drilling holes in those a little later. Now before I start drilling the holes, I need to lay out where the holes go. So I mark center of the brackets, which is 1.5 inches in from the sides and 7/8 in from the edge. When the holes are marked, you can either center punch it or you can just start drilling. Like I did here, I just started drilling. And that completes the repair of the bottom. So now it's time to flip over the ramps and mount the removable ramps on top. So originally I had thought to put the ramps on a hinge so you can fold them up when you're not using them and then fold them back out when you're ready to use them. But these ramps are actually long and heavy, so it'd be really hard on the user to have them on the hinge. So instead I decided to mount the ramps on top of the platform when not in use, and then when you're ready to use them, just unlock them and slide them out. So since I'm not using hinges, I just have to weld on tabs with a hole in it to put a few locks. We're going to put 2 locks per ramp, and that's going to be it. So this is Gary. He's the boss man on the project. It's getting pretty late on the last day, so we're just really trying to get this done as soon as we can. So he's installing the locks while I make sure the holes are big enough. After that, then the job's done. We just gotta pack everything up and head home. I hope you guys like this video, and if you want to see future content from me, please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for future videos. Thank you for watching.